Once upon a time, on a sunny day, a group of explorers ventured into a mysterious forest that had remained unexplored for decades. The forest was known for its eerie reputation, and locals told terrifying stories of people who had gone missing in it and unexplained phenomena. The explorers delved deep into the forest, climbing a steep hill that resembled a sharp needle. Beneath the trees covered in Panselian moss, they discovered strange tracks leading to what appeared to be the ruins of an ancient temple. Inside the temple, they found walls adorned with glyphs and symbols that were foreign to their understanding. Through the dense foliage, whispers and indistinct sounds reached their ears, as if ghosts of the past were finding their voices. As evening descended and darkness shrouded the forest, strange events unfolded. Trees bent as if they were living creatures, emitting eerie creaks, and whines carried shadows and sounds that quickened the heartbeats of the explorers. One of the explorers disappeared without a trace, their connection to the outside world suddenly severed. The remaining members of the group set out in search, but soon realized that the forest was concealing them from the outside world. Eternity seemed like a dark sentence, and they couldn't escape the forest of horrors. Days blended into nights, and the explorers grew weaker, succumbing to unseen forces that eroded their sanity. They began to hear whispers from those who had lost themselves in the forest before, and now lived eternally, devoid of hope for salvation. In their eyes, malevolent sparks flickered, and they began to hunt for new victims. What happened to this group of explorers, no one knows. The forest remained impenetrable and enigmatic, with its deep mysteries and dark secrets, and people now fear to approach its boundaries. The forest remains a mysterious and terrifying place where only shadows and dreams lost in time reside. The mysterious forest of forgotten dreams remained an unbreakable boundary between reality and the unknown. Its forest paths were twisted and ever-changing, leading explorers into the depths of lost dreams from which there was no return. Legends spoke of an ancient spirit dwelling deep within the forest, guarding its secrets. Over time, locals began to avoid the Forest of Forgotten Dreams, dubbing it the Forest of Forgotten Souls. They believed that anyone daring to enter its depths would be cursed and destined to serve as an eternal guardian of its dreadful secrets. The forest acquired a reputation not only as a place of maddening routs, but also as a source of ominous curses and anomalous phenomena. Several daredevils attempted to conquer this forest, but none of them returned, their names erased from memory. Townsfolk started to circumvent these places as if they were life-eaters, and the Forest of Forgotten Dreams remained an unsolved and enigmatic threat, lying in wait for those who dared to step into its darkness. And so, the Forest of Forgotten Dreams remains a somber symbol of uncharted dangers, and its enigmatic powers continue to linger in the memories of those who defied the nightly sea of fear and death. In the deep woods, where even the sunlight couldn't penetrate through the thick canopy of leaves, stood a house that was the subject of the most terrifying rumors. Local residents called it the House of Horrors, and no one dared to approach it. The legend told of a family who lived in this house long ago, but they disappeared without a trace. Subsequently, when brave souls attempted to inhabit this mysterious house, they too vanished. It was believed that the house consumed anyone who dared to enter its dark walls. A solitary traveler named Mark decided to uncover the truth behind this legend. He ventured into the woods with a backpack, a flashlight, and a notebook, prepared for a long investigation. The path to the house was overgrown and tangled, and he pushed forward as if through a dense fog. When he finally reached the house, a feeling of unease washed over him. The door was ajar, and Mark cautiously entered. Inside, he was met by a gloomy atmosphere. The flashlight's beam illuminated the faded wallpaper and dusty furniture. As Mark explored the house, he discovered strange footprints on the floor, as if someone mysteriously moved from room to room. He recorded every step in his notebook and continued deeper inside. At some point, he heard whispers and indistinct rustling. The sounds seemed to come from all directions, and Mark felt that he was not alone in the house. He aimed his flashlight towards the sounds and glimpsed fleeting, shimmering figures vanishing into the darkness. In a panic, Mark attempted to escape the house, but the door slammed shut as if by magic. He found himself trapped, surrounded by ghostly entities that were simultaneously visible and invisible. Hours turned into days, and Mark grew increasingly emaciated and exhausted. The mysterious forces of the house slowly eroded his sanity. He heard whispers and saw visions of horrors beyond his worst nightmares. But at a moment when Mark had lost all hope, the door of the house suddenly swung open, and he rushed outside, gasping for breath. His hair had turned white, and his gaze was filled with boundless terror. Mark never spoke about what had happened inside the House of Horrors, and no one could truly understand what he had endured. Nevertheless, the legend persisted, and no one dared to approach that sinister place in the woods where secrets and horrors lay hidden within its dark walls. After Mark managed to escape from the House of Horrors, he was forever changed. Those who saw him claimed that he was no longer a human, but rather a living ghost. His days were filled with nightmares, and his nights with insomnia. He felt that the mysterious forces that had held him within the house now pursued him in the outside world. Whispers and visions never left him, and he began to understand that the house in the woods had left a part of itself within him forever. Mark started seeking answers. He delved into the exploration of the surroundings, reading ancient records and consulting people who knew about the House of Horrors. But the deeper he delved, the more he learned about the enigmatic history of this place. It turned out that the house was built on the site of an ancient burial ground where the souls tormented by secret deaths rested. Those who crossed the threshold of the house became cursed, and their souls were trapped in the boundless darkness of the house. Mark realized that the only way to break the curse was to return to the House of Horrors and attempt to free the captive souls. He once again headed into the forest, ready to confront the darkness that had consumed him. When he entered the house, it became a place of terrifying visions and encounters with spirits. But Mark didn't give up. With the help of ancient amulets and incantations, he began to dispel the malevolent forces. Days and weeks turned into months, but Mark persevered. Each day, he fought for his survival and for the souls that were trapped in this place. Finally, after a long and exhausting battle, the house began to crack and crumble. Light penetrated its interior, and the trapped souls found peace. Mark emerged from the ruins and gazed at the place that had once been the House of Horrors. It was now an empty and forgotten place, bearing only the memory of the dreadful events. Mark returned to the town and became the guardian of the forest, warning others against attempting to explore this accursed place. He knew that the house in the woods could no longer harm any soul, thanks to his sacrificial battle against the darkness. In the heart of the dense, ancient woods, a group of adventurous friends set out on a camping trip to a remote and forgotten part of the wilderness. They were seeking an escape from the hustle and bustle of city life, yearning for the tranquility and beauty of nature. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows through the towering trees, they pitched their tents near the edge of a mysterious still lake. The campfire crackled to life, its feeble flames casting flickering, ghostly shapes on the surrounding trees. Amidst the warmth of the fire, they shared stories of local legends. The most haunting tale was of the phantom hiker, an unfortunate soul who had disappeared in these very woods many years ago, never to be found. Just as the moon rose high in the sky, a bone-chilling howl echoed through the night, sending shivers down their spines. They brushed it off as a mere wolf, trying to calm their racing hearts. However, the woods seemed to grow darker, and the once friendly rustling of leaves in the wind took on a sinister tone. A dense fog rolled in, obscuring their campsite and turning the atmosphere into a disorienting nightmare. Disembodied whispers seemed to emanate from the mist, and strange ghostly figures appeared and vanished among the trees. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. They huddled closer to the dwindling fire, clutching their flashlights and makeshift weapons.